Well, good evening. You're very welcome to Inside Line Racing for round 21 of ILR6 here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The end of the season is here. It's been a long road to get here, but there's a lot to fight for still, even after 21 rounds. So I'm excited for this one. We already have a retirement already. It is Rob, and he'll be starting at the back already. So good start there. I believe Philip was going to be the first one to set us on our way. We'll pick up, I think it is pick up Bill instead as he heads out on a lap. Make sure we're all set. We can get this party started. It's obviously daytime for now. It's obviously going to be a dry, you'd imagine, dry race and a dry qualifying. So Bill's going to get us on the way, and we can kind of set up the table here for this title decider in ILR6. So at the top of the standings, it is Danskar leading the way on 244 points. He is 2 points ahead of Ant Attack in second. So the title race has come down to just these two drivers. 20 races could not separate them. It is going to this one, and we can look at the title permutations in a sec. It is not the only battle taking place today. The constructors' title is up for grabs as well, but McLaren firmly have one hand on that already. They are on 346 points. They are 29 points ahead of Haas in second. So Haas need a big result if they want to snatch the constructors away from McLaren on this one. So Danskar obviously involved in that one as well. So Danskar could go for the double today. Will be easier said than done. So what is it going to take then for Danskar to beat Ant today for the title? Well, if he finishes ahead of him, that will obviously guarantee him finishing ahead in the title. And after that, if he's finishing, he needs to outfinish him. If he finishes third and Ant finishes below that, that would also give Danskar the title as well, given that either way around. If Ant finishes in third, that would give him the title by virtue of 1 point. So Danskar just needs to finish ahead of him, of Ant, but he can finish behind him if he is, as Khalifa gets a start at 36-1. My bad, I thought he was the furthest car forward. If Danskar then, if he say finishes in basically anywhere from I think he's sixth. Sorry, I believe it's ninth. He'd have to finish. He could finish ninth, and could finish 10th, and he'd still win. But apart from that, if this ends up in a tie in any way, sense, or form, if they're level on points. So, for example, this is where I was getting confused. If say Ant finishes in 5th place and say Danskar finishes 6th, that would obviously have a difference of 2 points, which would obviously put them level. But because Ant has more race wins, he would win the title. So only in that situation, if it's a 9-10 situation, can Danskar afford to have Ant finish ahead of him, and he still wins the title. But it's that's a very narrow margin, and I can't imagine it's the one that will play out here today. So we'll see how it goes. It's the same kind of thing with Ant. Like he needs to finish ahead, and if he finishes any way ahead of him, and he's in 8th or higher, then he's good for this title then. So Danskar then gets the ball rolling. First fans at 35s on the super softs. The majority of the field are on the super soft tyres, at least to begin this session. I do expect guys to kind of file out on the ultras as well toward the end of the session. Has Ant set a lap yet? He's currently coming through the last 2 corners, turns 20 and 21, and he goes third at 36-1. So first blood to Danskar, but it's a long way to go. In terms of the strategy, it's going to be an interesting one because pre-patch you could do the 2-stop, you could do the 1-stop. It was close between the 2 and the 1. I've personally dabbled with the 2, ultra hyper, and you can get that to work if you take the ultras to lap 10 or so, get another 10 out of the ultras, then you can even go, and then lap 20 or so you can stick on a set of hypers to go to the end. But I'd imagine with the way this patch and the tire temperatures have played out, I'd imagine some people will just go for the ultra to super. That's a safe strategy. The aggressive one is the 2-stop. So if you got something to do, if you're Danskar saying you're kind of out of position as such, or just in a position where you need to do something different, then the two-stop is certainly something he could do. Same with Ant as well. It's an option. It's a very decent option around this track with the hypers. So interested to see who kind of goes. I'm sure we'll see. There's 18 drivers here. I'm sure someone will go for the two-stop. That does involve the hypers. But for now, not too many people on the hypersofts. Apex is on a 36.7 on the hypers, but I'd imagine he's done that with a boatload of fuel in the car, so he should be able to improve on that time once he goes out once again. We'll follow Ant here as he goes around for his second lap. He's just close to running out of ERS. And through turn 21, difficult corner to get right sometimes. This looked like a decent lap, to be fair, and he does go quickest, narrowly ahead of Danskar, 35.7. That puts him ahead of his title rival, who I believe is on a lap himself. Another lap then on the supers for him. Sir Lane, expecting things from him today. We're at the point now where other drivers getting in the mix for the race win has that kind of ship has sailed in terms of those guys kind of affecting the title result in many ways, because no matter what, basically it's if Danskar finishes ahead of Ant, that's it. If Ant finishes basically other than 9th or 10th ahead of Danskar, that's it as well. So it doesn't really matter who wins this race today, because if Danskar wins it, then that's obviously his title, and vice versa with Ant. So anyway, Sir Lane will begin his lap now. Be interested to see what he does. I do expect him to be a strong contender in this race. Shalosh looks like he's just, is he starting lap or just finished one? Some guys are going long on these supers. And Danskar then looks like, or as plays rather, his teammate come around the final corner. Just I think beginning to start a lap himself. He's in 8th place at the moment. We've got Philip wandering out on the ultra softs. Interested to see him. Howitzer on the hypers. And Bees, so a couple guys still on their super soft runs. Where's Danskar? Danskar's going to be to the pit, so must have bailed on that lap, and he's going to come in. I'm guessing, given how long they've stayed out, I do think they will start this race on ultras. It's a safe thing to do to start on ultras. We'll see which of the brave souls decide to start inside the top 10 on the hypersofts. Well, Howard should be one of them as he makes his way towards, well, through sector 3 out of turn 18, and then 19, and then 20, and then the final turn 21. Just beginning to start his lap now, I believe. So where's that citizen? So they're in the pits. Sir Lane, then we'll go more Sir Lane as he's filing through sector 3 now. I expect this to be a quick time, possibly sub 1:35.5, but we'll see as he rounds the final corner. Car looking nice and planted. It's going to be close, and it is a 35.5 from Sir Lane on the third lap of those super softs. So he goes into pole position at the moment. Shalosh in 4th, having just set 35.9, going long on those soft. We are getting into some of the super soft runners now, like Philip on an out lap on his ultras. Baza, same story. Apex, Philip's teammate, also doing the same thing on the ultras. So we're getting towards the nitty gritty here of qualifying. 7.5 minutes left, plenty of time, and enough time at this stage for these guys to put in a lap on the ultras and then come in for a set of hypers to end, if that's how they want to go about it. There's a bit of traffic behind. Is that a Mercedes? Is that Murdoch? It is Murdoch. I think I'm not sure if he's on a lap, but I'm pretty sure Philip is, so we'll stick with him. If you could take a bit out of that curb, it's a good idea. Take half that apex, and he comes across the lines, won't be pole. It's a 36.4. Not the greatest lap from Philip. So 3 laps on those ultras. He's not managed to do a whole lot with them. He's in 7th for the time being. His teammate is on outlap. Murdoch and Baza, the 2 Mercedes, have been basically inseparable all season. It's a good idea actually to take a look at some of these teammate standings. I think Baza is faring better than Murdoch. Looks like Baza is on 88 points. Murdoch has a lot more DNFs actually, to be fair. I believe he's on 61. So I guess we're kind of at a lull in qualifying at the moment. There's a couple of guys pounding around, but I guess we could talk about kind of how we got to this point in this championship between Danskar and Ant, because that's the focus here today. Really, it's the two. Look, after 21 races, it's actually quite an achievement really for these two to be battling 21 races later. 20 races later rather, for a title. It's usually speaking, it's you're done and dusted by now. So Ant, I think, was definitely the quickest driver to begin the season. He was dominant in Australia, but kind of bottled the race win late on. He ended up bidding at, I believe it was turns, I think it's 11 and 12 at Australia, the chicane at the end of sector 2. So he ended up, he was in fire, he was like 20 seconds in the lead, I believe, and just ended up bidding it there. That allowed Danskar to win that race. It switched. I think he did finish. To be fair, he finished. He got 8th place in the end. Did Ant in that first race. And then a poor set of runs for Danskar, DNF in Bahrain, and 2 did not start in China and Baku, allowed Ant to win in Bahrain. He picked up some more points in Bahrain and Baku, and then came a nice run for Danskar to respond. Although Ant won in Monaco by an absolute landslide, Danskar picked up 3 podiums in a row at Monaco, Canada and France, and outperformed Ant in both France and Austria. And then came a run of really poor results for Ant, 6th, 7th, 10th, DNF between Germany, Britain, Germany, Hungary and Belgium. That Belgian Grand Prix took a lot of people out of that race. As Basel got to 3rd place with 35.8 on the Ultra, so you can see the field has shifted then to Ultras for the most part. Murdoch is on the Supers for now, but imagine he'll get a run in on the Ultras for all said and done. A couple of guys in the Hypers as well. Jacko's out on them, Alex is setting them in the pits, Propa is out on them. Bit of traffic down that main straight, that back straight rather. Excuse me, but then it did flip then. Both DNF'd in Belgium, nothing happened there. Then Ant got a better result at Italy. And then 2 podiums then for Danskar between Italy and Singapore. And then came to a crucial race, Russia, where Ant was leading the race only to be taken out by Apex, who was, I believe, on a softer tyre at the time, might have been on the Hypers. And that allowed Danskar in a messy race to still finish 5th and outscore his teammate by 10 points, or outscore Ant by 10 points, which was huge because it looked like Ant was going to take back the lead of the title, and instead they ended up going the other way towards Danskar, extending his lead. And then Ant has been on an absolute tear since that race. He finished 3rd in Japan, 1 USA, finished 2nd in Mexico and 1 in Brazil. Whereas for Danskar, he had 3 5th places in a row from Russia, Japan, USA, and then won absolutely convincingly in Mexico and finished 3rd then in Brazil. And that's how we got to this point. So it has ebbed and flowed. It's gone both ways, and well, whoever is on top tonight, and that's it. It's done. No more chances to strike back. 21 races and out. So we'll see how it goes. Sir Lane still on the top, obviously on the super softs now. He's out on his ultras, both Ant and Baz in the top 2 there on the ultras in the pits, although Ant is yet to go out. Danskar is out on track now, so I'd imagine Ant possibly waiting till the last minute or so, that it's as late as possible to go out and set a time on those ultras, just get the best of the track conditions as the guys continue to wear the rubber down, and the track condition improves as guys continue to set laps and pound round. Is anyone on the end of a lap? We pick up someone on the end of a lap. Jacko here is on a lap by the looks of it. He's heading into the last 2 turns. He's on the Hypersofts, so let's see what he can do. This would be, should put him to the top 10, won't it? Oh, won't. It's just outside. He's 2,000s behind Plays in 11th place there, so unfortunate for him. Beesman then has yet to set a time, and that will continue to be the case as he's just starting his lap now. Sir Lane is beginning his lap, and then is coming out of the pits, so he's going to have 1 run at this and see how he gets on. So risky one always to leave it with your 1 lap to go, but we'll see how he gets on. Charlotte heading through sector 2, so you could pick up anyone on the end of a lap. Plays, I think could be on the lap here. If not, he's just coming in. If he is coming in, that's going to be it. So it looks like he'll have 1 more lap then. He's got enough ERS by the looks of it to go for 1 more. So, and that was a lap, and he's just he's 2,000 slower than his teammate. So he'll vaults himself up into 5th, and Charlotte then goes quick as 35.3 then on the Ultra Soft. So here we go then. At times we get him to come down in Abu Dhabi, and Danskar then responds 35 flat for the championship leader. So now that's raised the bar just a bit then for everyone else to try and follow. Alex coming through in the last 2 corners. He's just starting on lap. Howitzer coming down the main straight. Jacko on a down lap. So you can pick up anyone. Sir Lane should be close, but he's got himself stuck in traffic and he has to bail on this lap. So And we know is on his out lap, so if you can pick up anyone on a flying lap, I think Beesman might be on a lap. So we'll stick with the Sauber driver as he negotiates the final 2 turns. The traffic in front of him, but there should be no worries as he comes across the line and set his fastest time at 36.6. That's just outside the top 10. Jacko's going to be into the pits, that's it for him. And this is basically our final laps basically of qualifying. Danskar looks like he's not on a lap. He's got the ERS turned down. That should be him done then. Sir Lane has to start his lap. Of course, we knew he had to bail on his lap, so he's just starting a lap. Baza then comes across the line. He's into 5th place, 35H for Baza on the Hypersofts. So Baza then taking the gamble on the Hypers. Plays then Messi to the second to last corner. But can he improve? Cross the line, I don't think he will. So that's Plays then set in 6th place. Bill then just behind him on Ultras. Cannot improve. A shot is done then. So where's Ant? And Ant's coming down towards turn 11, I believe it is. The hairpin. Danskar looks like he's not on a lap. Well, I'll stick with him though, just in case the game is lying to me. And he does pull into the pit, so that's it for Danskar then. Alex then just behind him in the Haas. But a very poor second half of the season for Alex. But what can he do here? It's only 12th place on Hypers, so we'll be inside the top 10 there. Now then, where is... Here he is then. So Ant then has got to respond then to Danskar. At the moment, this would not be a preferential result in qualifying, and track position means so much here in Abu Dhabi. Rounds the final corner. This would be a clutch pole position if he can get it done. Loses the back end side. He has that cost of pole position. It's a 35.09. So he's going to start second. He may have lost the time he needed out of that final corner. Didn't hit the apex and didn't lost the back end a bit. But that was Sir Lane. Can Sir Lane displace both of them to make things even more interesting here? I think he's going to pop into 34s. He is into 34s. 34.7 for Sir Lane, and he takes provisional pole position. Can anyone stop him? Baza is on Hypersofts. He goes 4th, just behind Ant. Plays is on. Looks like he's on a down lap. I think Bill is on a lap as well, but he's got very little ERS. And Howitzer also on a down lap as well, out of fuel. So I think that's going to do it for qualifying then. Is Sir Lane on top, Danskar second, Ant in third. So convincingly then in the end, Sir Lane was the quickest one. And then very little separating Danskar from Ant. I think Ant may have had a little bit more in that locker had he not spun out of that last corner. I don't know about Danskar if he had more time to find, but the pace on the surface looks very, very similar between Ant and Danskar, so overtaking opportunities can be difficult. So strategy, I think, is going to play a huge part here, and straight line speed as well down the main straight. When I say the main straight, I mean the back straight, the DRS straight, the big socking straight out of turn 7, heading down towards turn 8. So all to play for then, and it looks good for McLaren as well. 2 cars inside the top 10 with Bill both ahead of the Haas's. Bill then in 8th and Alex then in 13th. Oh, that's a nice accident there. I think that's Pro Opa. So we're just waiting for the for qualifying to finish, guys, in the pits, and then we can get cracking on this race. So then, interesting. So oh, beautiful stuff. I do enjoy it. Baza in 4th then on the Hypers. That's interesting. Well, he's the only one inside the top 10 who's gone for the Hypers. He needs to take those about lap. Good grief. Lap. I believe it's 6, 7 or 8. You want to try and get those Hypers. I think it's 7, if memory serves me right. You want to try and get those Hypers too. Of course, this is under the oil patch, and I don't know what the tyre temperatures have done on this occasion. But we'll see. We'll see how the strategy unfolds. So then, Sir Lane on pole position ahead of Danskar in 2nd, Anstak 3rd, Baza 4th, Shalaf 5th, Khalifa in 6th, continuing his fine form in the last third of the season. Plays in 7th, Bill 8th, Murdoch 9th, Philip 10th, Apex 11th, Beesman 12th, Alex 13th, Jacko 14th, Howitzer 15th, Jack Gooding is 16th. He'll be one to watch in the race as well. Pro Opa 17th, and Rob then didn't set time in qualifying in 18th place. Actually, how much time did Ant lose? 37-ish, 37.4. So there you go. Then he lost 4/10 compared to Danskar in that last sector. So that just shows you kind of how much time Ant lost in the final sector. I think more so the final two corners, I'd imagine, played a big part. But I'm expecting a dry race. I mean, I've people have said it, seen it happen. I'm sure it has. And even in the real F1 race, there is like a 25% chance of rain during the race in Abu Dhabi in December or November rather. So it can happen, but unlikely, I think, tonight. As we just wait and wait. There we go. Nice dry race. It is daytime. I thought it might have gone for the dusk to night, but there you go. This place isn't too bad in the daytime either. So a lot of decisions then to be made ahead of this one with strategy. I do think probably the one stop would probably be the way to go post patch rather. But we'll see how they get on as they begin their formation laps. So then we know Baza is on hypers inside the top 10. Then Bill on supers in 8th. He'd be one to watch as well. And after that, then mostly ultra softs. In fact, everyone's gone for super softs, or ultra softs rather, with the exception of Alex, who's in 13th on supers. No one then has touched the pink striped hyper softs. So looks like most of the grid has gone for the same idea, but in principle, because you could easily go for a two-stop here, and pit lane isn't too long here, to be fair. So this is a track where I think you could make the two-stop work if you've got the pace to boost. If you're Ant or Danskar, which do you rather be in front? Because if you're not sure about the strategy yourself, it might be nice to have one or the other in front of you to react to. So they'll be watching him, they'll be watching each other, I'm sure. Sir Lane as well, they'll be watching for strategy. A lot of indecision can easily be created by the strategy. I think here, more so than some other tracks on the calendar, I think you will see a few different approaches to this one. Again, pre-patch, I would have said that. I don't know how it's going to unfold post-patch, but we'll see. 28 laps to find out how this is all going to shake down. Two titles. Oh dear, 2 titles to decide today, and the drivers being the main one, and McLaren basically have to not. They basically have to not allow a Haas 1-2 basically to rip this away from them. That's basically the only thing stopping them here. So expect that to be done, but the driver's title is a lot closer than that. So bring it on. It's been a great season, and it's going to be a fitting end to this one. We had 4 drivers in the hunt for this one at one stage, and now it's just 2, and they've given us a good fight all season long. So best of luck to everyone. It's been a pleasure for these last 20 races. Hopefully we'll end on a good note here in Abu Dhabi. I'll go on board with Ant to begin this one. He's got the racing line, but Danskai's got the inside line. So we'll see which one turns out to be the preferential one, and the start compared to the top 3 basically to each other, and Baza then in the mix as well with his hypers could make things interesting as well. So let's find out then. 28 laps to determine an ILR6 champion. Here we go then. 5 red lights, one last time, and away we go. Looks like a very good start for Baza already on those hypers. He's going to try to go to the inside of Danskar as well. Can he make the move? So he has to back out of it, and that allows Ant to back through. So the top 3 staying stationary as it is. Khalifa gets through on Baza as well as they file their way through turns 1 and 2. Easy to lose the back end. Oh, it's been... Oh, Murdoch almost took the entire field, half that field out there. Rejoining the track very dangerously. And they head down towards then the end of the first sector. Philip making some moves there. He's got side by side with Bill, who started, of course, starting on those harder super soft. At the front is still Sir Lane, followed by Danskar and Ant right side by side, heading down this straight towards turn 8. The 2 title contenders. Who's going to stick it there? Looks like Danskar. It's so tight. Who's the latest of breakers? Is it going to be Ant? He's going to stick his car down the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact between the 2. And Ant looks like he's going to get away with this one. So Ant pulling ahead there, and Khalifa side by side with Danskar as well. Oh, I thought there was a wing down there, but it's just a polystyrene bollard. So will Khalifa hang this one, or will he back out? But he's going to go for it, to be fair. Can he hang around the outside of a level? Oh, more contact. Baza trying to squeeze through as well. This is not what Danskar needs, and somehow he survived. Khalifa losing out into Charlotte as well. So Khalifa looked like he was challenging from third, and is down to sixth. Then Plays battling his way. Bill and Philip also battling their way. Is there any incidents down behind Ferraris? There's half a wing there for Rob and Howitzer, but is Sirlane leading the way? The squabbling pair helping his case, and tell you what, Danskar is lucky not to emerge with either in a wall or in some way worse off than when he started this race, because he fought a lot of cars off there. Khalifa, Shala and Baza. Oh dear, that's a lot of lag. Sirlane tops the timesheet already. Looks like there is a good bit of lag actually, to be fair. Hopefully it doesn't affect the race too much. Charlotte then right behind Baza then, so Baza will have a few glory laps on these hyper softs, and then they're going to die quite quickly. Sirlane taking a very wide approach there into turn 7, and DRS not yet enabled. Danskar managed to drop then Baza somewhat, as you kind of draws a separation from each other just a bit now, but I don't think the gaps are truly representative on the screen, because I think there is some sort of issue there. But we'll carry on, we'll try our best. And Philip and Beesma going for a very late one down towards turn 8, and Philip will have the better line, and Beesma cutting the chicane slightly, shouldn't be gaining an advantage like that, and Philip does get back through. I keep thinking the gaps are not entirely truthful, because it said 1/10 between Ant and Danskar, and that's definitely not the case. Meanwhile, Charlotte and Khalifa using a bit of the track limits there to try and get by one another. Khalifa then looking like he's going to get by Charlotte this time. A dangerous part of the track to be fighting, to be fair, through turns 15 and 16. Ooh, has to back off, and it's going to allow Plays right in the midst of this battle as well. This battle for P5. This is just allowing Baza just a little bit of breathing room on those hypers, and he's going to need it, because his tyres will fall off quite soon. So Khalifa then ahead of Charlotte for now, as Ant sets the fastest lap of the race. He's just behind Sirlane. They're all still within DRS of each other, the top 3, at least for the time being. Will Charlotte go for a move? No, he thought about it, backed out of it, and this battle still goes on. Plays, Bill, Philip, Beesma, Murdoch, Apex are all right within each other, so this DRS trade is going to be very interesting to watch, as Bill trying to go around the outside of Plays. Can he make that move stick? He's door closed, and Bill can't get that one done. That's going to now Philip down the inside. Can he complete this move this time on Bill? They're pulling each other along, so he's got more straight line speed. Will likely determine the winner of this one. Having at the front 8 in here. Ant going for the move down the inside of Sirlane. Can he take the race lead? He can, but Sirlane's going to have the DRS to immediately strike back. Can Ant hold on to it? The more these two fight, it brings Danskar into it, and Ant covering the inside line opens up. Will Sirlane go for it? He's going to go for it. Bit of a lock wheel, bit of contact, and that should be Ant through, and Ant then takes the lead of the race. And let's see what pace he can now show. Can he break DRS is his next step. If he can break DRS, he's looking very, very good. And now it's important for Sirlane and Danskar to stick with him. Oh, he's gone for a move, and Ant has gone round. So Sirlane has gone for the dive bomb on Ant, and that has sent Ant round, and that allows Danskar into the lead of the race. Absolute scenes in Abu Dhabi, not Azerbaijan, Abu Dhabi. So that's allowed Baza then into P2. So that is a big moment in this race. Has Sirlane just decided the title race with an ill-advised move down towards turn 17? We'll find out. There's a long way to go in this one, but it has given Danskar a 4.5 second or so lead. And does Ant have wing damage? I think he's okay, but not the best. It's a bit of a setback as Khalifa gets by Sirlane. Oh, there's a car is off, and that's Sirlane who's gone off. And I always lost my mind because a few cars had big incidents there. Baza was one, and Charlotte was another. So 3 cars I think basically went off, and Sirlane's been disqualified for facing the wrong way. Ant has got by Khalifa, so a lot of things happened. And there goes Sirlane. So a lot of things happened there just now. So lap 3 and 4 has absolutely kicked off. So now the gap is 4.8 seconds between Danskar and Ant. And he's got Khalifa behind him as well, so Ant doesn't need to be fighting this one. Doesn't need an unnecessary battle. as Play is going for the move on Shah. He's got DRS, he's missing half of his front wing, so a lot of things have kicked off. He's going to get by Shalosh, or is he? He will, but he is missing a good chunk of that front wing. That's going to hamper his downforce significantly, especially through this section of the track. Jacko doing the two Ferraris going side by side. A bit of a corner cut there from Jack on Jacko, and that puts Jacko into P9 then, just behind Murdoch then. So it's all kicked off. Philip has gone to the pits. I assume he got picked up with damage somewhere. He's on the ultra softs again, so the gap at the front is continuing to rise. It is 5.5 seconds between Dan's car and Ant. A long way to go in this race, and now I think Ant may be at the point where you might have to consider another strategy, possibly the two-stop, if that gap continues to increase. Shaw looking to get the move back on Place, who's got wing damage in front of him. Jack Gooding is into the pits. Has he got wing damage? He has got wing damage to that right hand side, so he's going to be able to replace that. On the run down then towards turn 5, just Shaw had to back out of that one, but he is just hustling and harrying Place. Oh, and not anymore. He's absolutely clattered into the back of him and damaged his front wing in the process. That will immediately halt that, at least for the time being. That puts Biesma in a great position then. Opens the DRS, he Plays trying to break the toe. You're allowed one move over. After that, it is considered weaving, and Shallow going to try and hang around the outside. Looks like he's got that move done. Has he gone a bit deep? There's going to be contact between the two, and for the moment, oh, look at that then. You see the momentum difference between Biesma and Shalosh, and with the DRS open. But the problem is Shallow's got DRS open himself, and again the effect of a DRS train basically. So where Shallosh probably would have had an easy move there had he not had DRS, or Biesma would have had an easy move and not been for DRS in front of him. But there you go. It's difficult to overtake at Abu Dhabi at times, and for the moment they stay stationary. 4th, 5th and 6th line of stern. Apex then missing a part of his front wing. It's Baza just behind him, or Murdoch rather, Baza's teammate just behind him. So I do wonder possibly if there's a little bit of wing damage towards that Red Bull. We'll see, because it's 6.2 seconds the gap is now, and it's growing. So I do wonder if there's minor front wing damage. Where is the other Red Bull for reference? Visually it looks similar, but could easily be wing damage on that Red Bull, because I think that Ant was setting fastest times. Well, I say we did set the fastest time I think before that lap where Sir Lane ploughed into him, and it's just losing a bit of ground. So it started off really well for Ant. He got by Danskar quickly as Biesma gets by Shalak. Can he hold it? No, can't. He went deep, and Shalak really takes P5. It had gone so well for Ant. He'd taken the position off of Danskar, then had overtaken the race leader Sir Lane as well. And unfortunately, possibly an accident has decided this title. Long way to go, but Danskar continuing to increase his lead at the moment. Apex and under pressure from Murdoch heading down towards turn 8. Down the inside, of course, we know Apex missing a good chunk of his front wing. Oh, there's been contact, and that sent Apex into a half spin. Somehow didn't lose it, and he's still going to be in the position to fight. Murdoch heading down this second DRS straight. Going to pull over to the right hand side. Can he get the move done around the outside? He'll have the racing line. Can he swoop around the outside? Baza, the inside becomes the outside. Oh, bit of squeezing. And Murdoch rather gets the move done, getting those two Mercedes mixed up. And Murdoch gets the move done then for P7. And he should be able to hold it through this section of the track. Meanwhile, limping on with wing damage, Plays and Shaw still keeping ahead of Biesma, but I do wonder for how long they can continue this up. Oh, poor run for Charlotte out of turn 19 and down the inside of turn 20. Can Biesma get it done? Runs him off the track a bit. And a wide entrance there for Charlotte, and then Biesma nips on through then. So that's Biesma into 5th then, and can set off after Plays. And we know it's got damage to the left hand side of that car. You can see the absence of that front. You can see how much he has to brake there during through turn 2. Oh, Biesma's losing the back end. Can he hold it? No, he can't. And he's out of the race. So Biesma is retired from the race. He's lost the back end. And it looked like he had saved to come out of the barrier, but still made contact then as he turned round. So that is Biesma out of the race. A safety car would definitely spice up this race, but of course we're not going to get one, because this game never has safety cars. So appreciate that. It will make the title fight a lot more interesting, but the racing carries on and Alex looking to get by Jacko, who actually has not got wing damage for once on his car. Bush is using the super softs, and I think if evidence from Beesma there, I think these ultras are just beginning to go off just a bit, and possibly temperatures could be playing a part. Certainly rear wear playing a part. Oh, and look at that, Alex almost lost the back end as well, coming out of turn 10 there, turn 9 rather, and yeah, so possibly that could be an indication the ultras are just beginning to go off just a bit, and we'll get to the round of pit stops quite soon, and we'll see who does what then. Danskar pounding around for another lap at least. There are a few laps those ultras can do. To be fair, the grid has spread out just a bit then, and continue to fall a bit behind. 7 seconds now behind Danskar, although it seems to make a bit of time up that lap. No sign of plays or shot pitching just yet. They do have damage, and we've got some action down below as Baza gets by Rob. And that's for P14. Of course, Baza's just pitted. He was on Hypersofts, I believe, and has come in for his supers. Whether they'll go to the end or not, I'm not sure. But I guess the only option is to try at this stage. Well, if you can, you might end up getting a point or two, depending on how this race unfolds. Only lap 8 of 28, so still a lot of time left in this one for things to change. And hopefully they do, because it's a bit of a dud at the moment. And Sir Lane just reading the ILR6 Twitter chat saying he locked up into that corner, and that forced the contact with Ant. I need a second look at it, to be fair. Initially it looked like a bit of a dive from the view back. I think I was on board with Dan's car when that happened, or one of the other cars, but we'll need a second look at that for sure to see what went down. But that won't help anyone now. It's happened, and well, Sir Lane's disqualified, and Ant is in second place and trying to catch a spin, so I think his tyres are beginning to go just a bit. Will Plays come in, or sorry, Dan's car come in? No, okay, everyone mixed up today, I apologise. Will Ant come in, because it looks like his tyres are struggling just a bit, and Philip is out of the race. So no sign of Ant coming into the pits yet, so Philip then was retired in sector 1. We probably pop on board with Dan's car to see where that took place. If it doesn't clear up those shots, it's very, very close to Plays, and Plays then comes into the pits. So the first of the front runners then to pit is Plays, though he has got wing damage. I'd imagine he will be replacing it. You may as well stay with this one. See what he does. Does he go super, or does he go ultra? The thing is, you need to take the ultras lap 14 or 15 if you want to get these supers to the end. And as I said, ultras for Plays, so that is a 2-stop then for sure for Plays. Because if you're going to take the ultras 10 laps or so, then by extension you're not going to get the supers 20, realistically speaking. So out comes Plays, as he has to navigate the pit exit, which is a little difficult, and Plays will pop out into P11, quite comfortable P11, so you can push on those ultras, and with a new wing in tow. Whew, excuse me. Got two Ferrari powered cars. Bill and Jacko scrapped away. A lot of weaving going on here early on, and Bill holding it for the time being. Misses the apex slightly, at least has left the space, to be fair. And Jacko is taking that turn a few times, just cut that corner where he can. And in the slipstream and the DRS, if it's going to be a move, it's going to be late, and he didn't quite make it. So Murdoch then, and Danskar's into the pits then. So the race leader is into the pits, and will Ant respond? No, he's carrying on. So this would indicate a 2-stop for Danskar. We'll see what Ant can do now. Ultra softs for Danskar. So here's the issue then. These are if Ant is staying out for the 1-stop, these are big laps for Danskar, because he needs to make up a good chunk of time. Well, so a decent bit of time, not as much as he would have under normal racing circumstances, given that he obviously had a bit of a lead. Will he emerge into P3? He does. So crucially, he clears Charlotte, and that's Danskar into P3 then after stopping. He's looking good then. Yeah, looking at a very good spot is Danskar for this race. He's less than 10 seconds behind Ant as well, and will only decrease that gap as the longer Ant stays out then on these tyres. So it's a short pit lane here, so two-stop can work, and that's why I was saying earlier it can work, because its pit stop is quite short here. We'll see how he gets on. So big lap then for Ant. Will he pit this lap, or will he try and hang the one stop? The one stop is really his only shot at this stage to try. If he does the same strategy, I think, as Danskar, I think he's not. I think he's going to fall short. If he's to change a wing, I think it's game over. If there is damage on that car, it's going to be game over, because to replace that wing is going to be another 7 seconds, and you know he's basically that already. He's basically 8 and a bit seconds ahead of Danskar, and that's without making a stop. So if that wing has to be replaced, I think, barring a retirement for Danskar or a safety car, I think this one, unfortunately, is going to disappear, and he's going to stay out. Is Ant, so I'd imagine then he's just trying to hang on to the one stop then, but he's losing ground rapidly then to Danskar, who's already less than 7 seconds then behind, and hunting down Khalifa. So although they're on the same strategy, Khalifa and Ant, but Ant is putting a lot more time on Khalifa, and as a result, Danskar is catching up rather quickly. This is not a bad drive from Apex so far. He's taken now those Ultras 10 laps. He's got wing damage on the front, further straining those tyres. And Murdoch can't quite get by for the time being. Well, plays go for a move on Jack Gunning course. The difference in pit stops for that fresher tyres for plays compared to Jack. Just have to lift off a bit through turn 2 there, or turn 3 there. The plays not just lost a little bit of ground, but he should still be within DRS. And Jacko just a little bit off the road, but not close enough for his teammate to gain DRS himself. So let's see what the exit is like for plays heading out of turn 7. Let's see, decent run to be fair. It's not too far back, and Jack trying to break the toe. Is the straight long enough for plays? Can he get enough straight line speed? He's reeling him in down the inside in towards turn 8. I think he's allowed it. He's good racing to be fair. Lots of space given, a little bit of contact on exit, and that plays muscles his way by Jack Gooding then for P10. You can set off after the other Ferrari, because I don't think Jack is going to be able to strike back immediately. Look at that gap already. Undercut here is so powerful. That gap is less than it's just over 3 seconds now. Ant is coming in then. So look how he's made up so much time. So Dancer is going to take the lead here coming out this final corner to head down towards the main straight, and sets a fast lap 38.6. Will you take the lead? So much more grip around the outside. There you go. Khalifa goes through. No change of wing then for Ant, and he's put on the super, so he had to do something different because the rate this one was going. He had to do something different. So where will he come out? Oh, he's just ahead. He's going to come out behind this squabbling pair of Apex and Murdoch, but they will have to pit soon. Is he going to come out behind Alex? He needs to get in front of him, to be fair, and he will be. No, he won't be. He's just behind him. So Alex is on 11 laps on those tyres, and the last thing Ant needs is to be stuck behind traffic. So if he can dispatch these cars in front of him quickly, that would be extra beneficial. But he's got to hope to go to the end, and these are big laps for Danskar then. But even still, he's 15. Ant is basically what, 16, 17, 18 seconds behind Danskar. That's almost a pit stop as it is. You take into account when Danskar comes in, he's going to put on not only even right now, Danskar has a faster tyre, so he's going to be pulling out a gap. But nevertheless, Ant is stuck in traffic as he gets by Alex nice and quickly there. So that was a big move there. He's going to be pulling out an advantage on his tyres as it is. Once he comes in, he's going to have we presume it's going to be the hypersauce to the end of the race, and they're going to be much much quicker than the super. So I'm afraid if Ant wants this title, he's going to have to hope on external factors playing a part, and by that it's really a safety car or a retirement or incident to Danskar that would force him to make an unscheduled pit stop again. So it looks like that incident between Sir Lane and Ant, it looks like it has decided the title here today. Khalifa into the pits then, and he's going for a set of supers also. Like I said, some split strategies here between the 2 and the 1 stop. I do think the 1 is the one to be on, or sorry, the 2 I think is the best one to be on. You'd have to get your ultras lap 14, 15 to really make it work. I do think these supers will be quite tired near the end. Plus, you have once they are, you're gonna have the guys like Plays and Danskar who are going to be on hypers. So Much faster tyre, obviously, at that phase of the race than the super soft. So I think we could even see a McLaren 1-2 here before it's all said and done. So we'll see how that turns out. For now, what have we got on track? Not a ton going on. Jacko just behind Charlotte, and Jacko into the pits out on supers, and we'll go to the end. And play, and Danskar really just has to coast. Really, that's all he has to do at this stage. Play it safe, no risks, and he can emerge as the ILR6 champion today. Although there's still half the race to go, I'm sure that hopefully there's a few twists to the tail to make this entertaining, because it has been a bit of a dud, this title race, as what's turned out to be. But see what happens. Anything's still possible, of course, in racing. But looking good at the front, he is. Khalifa's had a good race as well, to be fair. He's going to get by Alex here in a second. He's pitted, and again, part of the problem, ever since Russia, Khalifa's shown that fantastic turn of pace, and he's just had issues in the race where he hasn't been able to string it together and turn it into a good result. Did pretty decently in Brazil last time out, but generally speaking, he's put himself in great positions, but hasn't been able to see it through in the race. But he's looking very good here, certainly for at least P4 or P3. We'll see what happens with plays and his second stop onto the hypers. We'll see what happens with that. But Alex really struggling on those supers, and he's got a bit more to go yet. Remember, the outside into turn 7, Khalifa should be able to get the switch back. I mean, much better run with DRS. It should be a formality for Khalifa now. Pops into the slipstream, has to be careful not to desync that Haas, and there you go then. He will move into P3, and nothing really Alex can do about that one, and plays then, gets by his teammate Bill. Alex's teammate, for that matter, Bill, puts him into P5, and as Pro Opa out of the race, he was in 15th place anyway. So does that warrant a safety car? Not sure where that accident took place. There it is. Oh wow, he's actually binned it right there. That's an unusual place to bin it. It must be a hell of a lot of oversteer to do it, or it was intentional. So no safety car though, looks like, and Alex runs very, very wide, and that will allow plays to go through. And the Haas also running, the other Haas also running very wide. They are on similar strategies, both on 13 lap old supers, so perhaps both similarly feeling the wear and tear on those supers. And well, I got bad news, they've got a bit more to go yet on those tyres if they want to make the one stop work. It's a tough one to make this one stop work. It's a long one. No matter what side, kind of what tyres you're on, whether the supers to begin or the ultras, they're going to fade, and they're not going to be nice to end that first stint. This is all bringing Charlotte into play as Jack comes in for another pit stop then. So pitted early to replace wing damage, is taking those supers, or those ultras 10 laps. And now on come the supers, and he will go to the end. He should pop out in front of probably Jacko, to be fair, and Baza, because Baza's just pitted. And Charlotte and Bill going side by side heading towards turn 7. Charlotte should have this one in the bag. He's got more grip, but arguably he's overtaken Bill at the wrong place, because Bill's going to have DRS, and it wasn't the best run out of turn 7 for Charlotte. So it's going to bring him, and Rob is out of the race. So that is, we have now down to 13 runners, and Bill takes back that place from Charlotte then. So straight line speed, the king here, but can he hold it? Bit of a wiggle on the way out of turn 9, and now DRS is back with Charlotte. Can he get this move done? Down towards turn 11. Oh, bit of jinking here and there. Down the inside. Go Charlotte. Can he get that move done? Looks like he will. Swoops in. Claims that corner as his own. Moves up into P6 then. So there you go. That is Williams splitting the Haas. And I imagine it won't be too long before Charlotte catches up to the back of Alex to take that P5 away from him. So then, how does plays getting on? I thought maybe 1-2 might be possible for McLaren, but the pace of Khalifa has been okay so far. Plays is quite a bit into his ultra soft stint, so I think Khalifa's looking good for this third spot here, but I do think plays could easily have a crack at the top 5, even still making a second stop. His teammate is long up the road and showing no signs of slowing down as Bill comes into the pit centre to replace those supers. I would imagine, yeah, you can get ultras 12 laps, but it's a stretch, but I'd imagine that's the plan here. And he's got ultras on, so those tyres will not be nice near the end, but they should, in theory, get him to the end, especially with a lightened fuel load as well, relieving a little bit of pressure on those tyres. So there you go. Apart from that, though, it's kind of become quite well, yeah, pretty much boring. I was going to want to say the word boring, but I mean, everyone's covered by at least 2 seconds, and the title fight is just kind of gone. So it's unfortunate, but I'm sure it'll be a talking point afterwards. I suppose I could take the time to look at it again, now that I've got the time. Because really at this stage, I mean, not a whole lot going on. Howard's just into the pits, put on a fresh set of ultras. The thing we're waiting for next here really is the two McLarens to pit, and where plays will emerge, because Dan's car is just going to emerge in front still. Well, plays will have to come through the field, but he's losing time now to Khalifa, so I'd imagine those supers are getting a little bit closer to the ultras are getting closer to the end of their expected lifetime. So he had got to around 1.9 or so on Khalifa, and he's just fallen back ever since. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Sorry this hasn't worked out really to an entertaining one. It's, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot going on at this phase. I'm pulling up the stream on my phone because I want to watch back the incident with Sir Lane. Just for a second look, really, more than anything else. So a long time ago now at this stage, and yeah, it's looks like it's been a while. Is there anyone? Oh, okay, we got Bill here closing in on Jack at 1.4 seconds, so this could be something. Well, not be a huge battle, but it might be something nevertheless. As he closes in, of course, a big tire. Well, not a big tire difference, but Bill is on the softer of the two the tire compounds. Of course, supers, hypers, and ultras. So see how he gets on. No movement at the front for the time being, and into the slipstream comes Bill. Pulling to the outside, he'll have a racing line, and that should be a fairly simple move. Although Jacko's going to fight it a bit. To be fair, tried. And falls short, doesn't have the tyres or the speed that Bill has to get to kind of save himself there. So there you go, that is building up into a points paying position into P10. And Shaw catching up to the back of Alex. Alex is still out on those tyres. He's taken them a long way. His teammate came in a few laps ago to get rid of them. Oh, a lap or two ago rather. And I mean, it's commendable taking them this far. And now, I do wonder if the longer he takes these, I do wonder if he's taking them to a hypersoft sense, doing the unconventional supers to hypers. Could be on, could be possible. If he gets a few more laps out of them, if there's a few more laps left in those tyres to give, we'll see. Just seeing the YouTube comments, Ant definitely can get those to the end, which is why he stayed out, but they won't be pretty, those tyres near the end. You're asking light pit, what, lap 10, 12 on ultras? It's just a lot to ask, double of that basically on supers to go to the end, whereas the ultras could only do 10 or 12 or so. So that's more so why I thought that at the time. Shaw's disconnected then, so that ends that charge. Oh, for okay, couple of sorry, I thought that was the imminent sign of everyone lagging out, and that's why myself lagging out for that matter. But it looks like it's just Charlotte and Ant then So rather suddenly, we've had 2 disconnects, and really that doesn't affect anything in the title race at this stage. It was game over anyway. So just another adds insult to injury for Ant. He's wondering what the hell is going on. So that's unfortunate, but again, it doesn't really change anything at this stage. So that's unfortunate. See if he can get back into his car. Should be able to get back in, but at this stage, it doesn't really matter. So, anyways, Murdoch then Charlotte. Oh well, yeah, there's no real battle there. Jack Gooding is closing up, and we got Alex did come in, and he did set the hyper. So that is interesting choice of strategy. The only one to do that, really, the Superstar hypers. So there you go. That's an interesting one. I haven't seen that one done yet. See if they can get back into their cars. But that was a tough one for Shalak. He was looking good there for possibly a top 5 result. The way things were going, and plays then will get by Ant eventually, and that will promote Plays then to a podium spot. He's got a stop to make, as do both McLarens, but with now the gap being almost 20 seconds ahead of Murdoch then in 5th place, Plays will easily be able to make that up at the end. So we're going forward with Jack Gooding. He's catching up to the back of Apex. Let's see if he can get moved on for P7. So he's one to watch, to be fair, as Jack Gooding. He's made 2, to be fair, where could Jack Gooding have been in this race? He had to make one unscheduled stop early on, and 2 stops, and he's still in 8th place. Right in the back is looking the right, but he goes into 7th, and 6th place right in front of him now as well. So he's done very, very well to fight back through, fight the power, fight the incidents, and yeah, looked like a good point result here for Jack Gooding, but he's a bit too far back on this occasion to make the move on Apex. As Danskar then pits. So Danskar then from the lead will emerge comfortably in the lead. And all said and done, of course that's Charlotte's Ghost, not sure why I'm checking it. So Hypersofts then to end for Danskar. And yeah, he'll be well in front, so he can pump in some fastest laps and just go for, basically this is victory. These are victory parade laps at this stage for Danskar. Set the fastest ones, see if he can be his teammate in that regard when his teammate pits next lap. Oh, he's been this lap, so of course there's a gap is there. Will he be held though? Because this game is one for holding a car, even though your teammate's 40 seconds up the road and already come into the pits. So we'll see. See, they're still not ready for him. That's utterly ludicrous. Thankfully for Dan, see, look at that. Still, he didn't lose. He lost a little bit of time, but even still, like his teammate's 30, 40 seconds up the road. That shouldn't be happening. So good stuff, Codemasters. So his progress will be one to watch now. Plays. He's got 4 seconds to make up on Murdoch, and another 5 or so on Ant's Ghost, which he should do fairly easily. So a McLaren 1-3 then on the cards if Plays can get by the Mercedes in front of him, and then the Ghost should be a formality after that. So there's something loading on my phone. I'll look at my laptop at this incident with Sir Lane and Ant. Yeah, not that it really matters now at this stage, because if this was the fate anyways of Ant to disconnect, then you know it doesn't really matter, but it did affect the race in the time it took place. So I want to have a look at it. I might as well go on board with Apex, and Jack Gooding's got by, so that's Jack Gooding into 6th place. Baza and Jacko, these two have been tussling and tarrying all year in parts, and Baza is moving ahead. This for track position though, and they are on similarly old tyres, so there's a little ding dong here between Ferrari and Mercedes. Let's head down towards out of turn 10 and down towards the heavy brake in the turn 11. DRS for Jacko. Can his straight line please sustain him and keep him? ahead of Baza heading into the corner. It looks like it has. And Baza can't fight back this time, just has to stay within DRS, and he should be able to make a move soon. You know, there it goes. Ant is his car, and Plays then will dispatch this relatively quickly, and then he can set off after Murdoch then, who's just there up the road, you can see. And Alex right behind this as well, to be fair. Alex on the hypers, of course, having done the supers to hypers, so Apex is this one. See, this is the thing, like the 1 versus 2 stop is a toss up really. If you got the pace, you can make it work. If you're struggling a bit, then these guys on these softer tires, the ultras, the hypers, will eat you. And Plays had to avoid running into the back of Murdoch there, but should get good traction out of this corner as Alex gets by Apex then. A bit of a lock up for both cars, to be fair, and that almost, and Apex did make contact with Alex just a bit. Stan's car sets a faster lap of the race, 36 flat rather, and that's Alex then into P7, and Plays has got himself by Murdoch, and I think well, Alex should have a crack at Jack Gooding. We'll see. Of course, that's just them overtaking the Ghost. 1.9 seconds on the Hyper, so we'll see how that develops, if you can do anything now. I'm watching this Ant incident again with Sir Lane. What's on board with Dan's car? Big lock up from Sir Lane there. So, unfortunately, that is just a racing incident. Desperately unfortunate, but there you go. That's the reality of it, and that's a shame, because it took 20 races to get to this point. It was hoping for a good finale, and sadly, we didn't really get one. And we've got, the worst thing is we've got about 6 laps, 5.5 laps to go, including the one they're on, and I mean, there's not. There are things going on, but more so it's the guys who are now, for example, Plays is got by Murdoch. Well, he's not going anywhere further because he's 22 seconds behind Khalifa, so he's not going anywhere. Alex might get Jack Gooding, but the longer this goes on, the less likely he will, given the length, the age of those hypers just increasing, and thus losing more and more grip. Bill could still get Apex. That's a little thing to watch out for. And Baza and Jack are still tussling away. So there's a few things going on, but we'll see how long they last. Beginning with this battle here, Jacko and Baza. This is a final point. Well, it will. Well, they are 80 seconds behind Ant, so we'll see how it ends up. A lot of space given, to be fair, from Baza, and a very late Apex from Jacko. That's close to desync territory. So again, Jacko then ahead of Baza. We'll see with the DRS. A lot of weaving going on here, so a lot of kind of jinking across, cutting off inside lines and the such, and Baza does get the move done. He does move up into 10th then. Bill right behind Apex then. So you just see the difference between the 1 and the 2 stop, with the track being so short around here, the pit stop and the such, and it's quite a long track as well. You do see why the 2 stop is favoured by some over the 1. And it looks like those are on the 1. The only one that's really worked out for, I'd say, well, we'll have a look in a sec. That's the wrong one. To be fair, it's worked out well for Khalifa for a start, and it's worked out well for Murdoch, you would say, as well, in 4th place there. So yeah, it's worked out well for some. As Alex and, or sorry, his teammate Bill gets by Apex, and that's for P7. Jacko and Baza still going at it. So nice little ding dong between these two. Alex has called to the back of Jack Gooding as well, and it's got DRS then. This is for 5th place, and round the outside, a bit of a lock up there for Alex, and that's going to allow Jack back through, and he keeps holding that position for the time being. All sorts of jinking and jerking between Jacko and Baza. Oh, that's very, very late. Both completely missing their points. and this sloppy battle, has to be said, is going to carry on, and Baza with the DRS this time. It's going to end up in tears for someone, surely. Eventually, something's got to give here as Baza retakes that place. So, constant toing and froing for this final point for the time being between Baza and Jacko. And he's left in the space, to be fair, so Baza being very, very generous with the space he's leaving Jacko, or is this just a constant jockeying for DRS basically between the two to get DRS? Make sure you have DRS in the right spot, but I would maybe guess that that isn't the case, and it's just the quality of driving at times. So Alex then, so yeah, obviously he didn't get by Jacko in that turn, made life a bit difficult for himself. Yellow flag sector 1, nothing doing here. How about this time then for Alex? Can he get by Jack Gooding this time? It opens up the DRS. Hypersofts couldn't complete the move last time. Can he do it this time? Pulls over to the left hand side very early. Braking then towards turn 8. Jack is going to hold this one for the time being, but bare traction, much better traction for Alex on the hypers. He's got DRS as well. He's got to go around the outside through turn 10. Can he hold it this time? Not a lock up, but he is able to hold on to it this time. That has Alex into 5th then. So again, I can only imagine how, like, you could easily be talking about Jack Gooding for a podium spot here had he not had to pit early on, and this battle's still going on. Much better run though. The switchback for Jacko was good on that occasion, and now with DRS he can look again to getting by Baza. Baza pulls on the right hand side this time, so at least the inside open. He will have the racing line, will Baza, but it's just so easy then for Jacko, pulling in far in front as he has, to just come back in and take the racing line. I think Baza had a little moment there actually, because he lost a lot of time there. His rears don't seem to be too happy at this stage. 10 laps on those supers shouldn't really be happening, but a bit of a struggle there for Baza in that section. That just allows a bit of breathing room for Jacko. He's really struggling, isn't he? I'll have to keep an eye on that. But lap 26 of 28, we're finally nearing the end of this one. If you're still watching on YouTube, again, apologies, it didn't turn out to be the best one. But we are going to decide 2 champions today. And that's going to be Danskar and McLaren. And his teammate TGI Play is taking the constructor. So it was basically a formality for them to begin with, but a 1-3 finish is a fitting end to their season. They have been the best teammate duo, I have to say. Murdoch and Baza have been interesting to watch as well as teammates throughout the whole season, but unfortunately, no, they're not going to win it. It's going to be the 2 McLarens, and when it came down to it, they did help out each other. Plays letting Danskar go a few times. Obviously last week in Brazil, I think where was it though? It was in Russia as well. He let him go as well, to let him by for the championship. So they played the team game well, and is a fitting end to their season. They're going to be well-deserved constructors champions. We begin the second to last lap then for Danskar. I have to say, heading into this one, I did think Ant was going to win it because momentum was firmly on Ant's side. He had a better run over the last 4 or so races, and it was more than likely always going to be dry in this one, which would have given would have lessened. Obviously, if it was a wet race, that would have, you may as well just given Danskar a trophy on lap 1 basically if it was wet. But of course, Abu Dhabi is not wet very often, and therefore much closer race. I thought Ant may have been able to do it in the dry, and he had track position to begin, having caught up behind Danskar, but an incident then. Look at this, he's coming up on this battle between Jacko and Baza himself actually. So let's see then how they navigate this as you get the final lap of ILR6 for Danskar. He's just going to cruise home, and well, that's one way to get out the way for the race leader while continuing your battle. They're on lap 27, of course. They will get they'll finish. So this is the last lap for those two actually. So they need to. This is their lap down, so they need to finish this one. Then whoever's in front to the end of this lap will finish ahead of each other. So Jacko with the advantage for the time being. For Danskar, he did very well this season. He's going to emerge a champion. And look, you win the title after 21 races, goes down to 21 races. You deserve to be champion at the end of the day. I think, and that must be a sight right there for Danskar to lap the ghost of Anscar. That's going to be a tough one, I think, if you're Ant. There's going to be a lot of if, buts, and maybes. Had Russia not happened, had obviously this not happened, this race here, the disconnect and the incident with Sir Lane. But look, at the end of the day, if you're leading after 21 races, you deserve to be champion. You know, that's the simple matter of it. It went down to the final fight, the final race, regardless of those things. Danskar missed 2 races to begin this season as well, in China and Baku. So it does go both ways. It's 21 races, and at the end of the day, Danskar is going to emerge. It won't be close in the end in terms of the title. He'd be 27 points clear, but it came down to one last race, and that's what it took in the end. Danskar rounds the final corner, and he is the ILR6 champion. He weaves a fantastic season for him. He has done it. The odds might have been stacked against him at times, but he pulled through and is a deserving champion in the end. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to McLaren with that result as well. They are Constructors champions, and a deserving 1-3 finish in this one is going to take them to Constructors glory. So congratulations to Danskar, McLaren and Plays as well. Khalifa then, a very good race from Khalifa, has to be said, a very lonely race in the end. 34 seconds behind Danskar in the end. He finishes second. Great result for him, making the one stop work for his advantage. Plays then coming around the final corner, and he is happy as well, finishing third. Best result for him for a little bit, I believe, as well. I'll have to check that, actually, to be fair. Murdoch finishes for a very good race from Murdoch, but he's jumped by Alex then on penalties, so good result there for Alex. It's not been the great second half of the season for him, but he does finish 4th there to end well. Jack Gooding in 6th, Bill will finish 7th, Apex finish 8th, and that's going to be it then for the point scores. And his Ghost finished 9th, and Jacko did finish ahead of Baza in the end for the final point spot, and that is that. And that is Plays' best result since he won the race in Russia, by the way. So there you go, double McLaren podium, double glory. It's Constructors and Drivers titles heading back to McLaren Technology Centre. Good stuff for them. Unfortunate end, and a bit of a dud race in the end, but hey, you can appreciate them for giving us these 21 races to sort this title out. So thanks to the drivers for this season. There's been ups and downs. There's been all sorts of interesting driving throughout, but it's been good fun. So the final order then, at least provisionally after the race for this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, is Danskar finishing ahead of Khalifa in second by 34 seconds. Plays in third, rounding out a Constructors winning effort for McLaren. Alex 4th, Murdoch, Jack Gooding in 6th, Bill 7th, Apex 8th, and Ghost finished in 9th, Jacko finished 10th, Baza 11th, Howitzer, did he finish in the end? He finished 12th, and Charlotte's Ghost then in 13th. We lost Rob, Proba, Philip, Biesma and Sir Lane from this race. All that seems like a long time ago. That's going to do it for ILR6 this season. Hope you stay with us for next season when that comes, but for now there's still a few bits and bobs we decided. ILR 3 and 4 are next in just over 10 minutes, so same track. Again, strategies were very interesting here tonight with the 2 versus 1 stop, so I do think that's going to make for some good racing, so I hope you watch that. And yeah, until next time.